Welcome to Framedive. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to build your own website in Framer. Even if you're a first-time beginner and you've never, ever, built a website before. And I'm sure after this you can launch your own website, and even more, we're gonna make it responsive in the sense that it's going to be mobile friendly. So it's something that you can build and view it on your phone after watching this video. So this is what we have on your screen. This is now my website, and as you can see, if I come and reduce the screen size, so you can see that it's now responding. So this is what we mean by responsiveness. So, and then I want to show you something else. So see, as I scroll down, and this is now the critical part. This is what I really want to show you, this navigation, but how to build this, because much of these other sections are gonna be easy, but this is just slightly tweaking. But it also has some nice effects, some variants to it. So let me show you. So if I scroll down, I want you to feel and see something here. So as I scroll down, you can see there's a pricing, login, and 1, 2, 3. Voila, you see a button pops. Okay, this is a good way to capture your viewers' attention, and as you scroll they get this call to action. Okay, so let's create this in Framer, and good for beginners. Let's do this. My name is Joe and this is Framedive. Let's get started. So once you log in into Framer, the first thing you're gonna see is you're going to see a blank white page, or a blank white shape. This is a square shape, okay, or a rectangle to be more precise. So this is where we're gonna throw in the bunch of images, and this is where we're gonna put in the text and the animations to make a website. So I'm gonna click here to my desktop. As you can see, I have this desktop here, and then you also see down here I have a logo. This is just my logo that I'm gonna use to build my navigation bar with. So the first thing I want you to do is I want us to create the body. Let us create the body. Let us create the meaty part of the website, and to do that, it's very easy. We can just come into the insert on the left part, and Framer has already built for you a bunch of sections and pages that you can just drag and drop inside your website. And that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna look for a section here. I'm gonna pick this one and I'm gonna drag it inside. And notice what has happened when we dragged it inside this desktop. It changes from single solids to 2 solids. This means this is now a stack. It means this contents that is inside the desktop is arranged as a stack. So when we duplicate this, it goes on top of the other. This is what it means to have a stack. And you can also confirm this on this right side panel. You see layout here, and this minus, as you can see this, it means that we are in a layout stack. If I click this and remove it, you can see that if I duplicate this, then it just goes on top of the other. You can see but it's not stacking up. Anyway, let's go back to our website. There's just a quick idea about stacks. So you've just come here and just dragged it inside, okay, and so now we can style it up a bit. Okay, so we can look at our website. We can say let me change the text here. Let me change it to let me look for a nice font. Maybe Instrument Sans is a nice font. Let me do the same for this one. Let me do the same for this one. So this is just getting a bit creative about our website. And then we can come here to the header image. As you can see, it's called the header image. It means all this is an image as a background, and then there are a bunch of text on top of it. So if we click the header image and we come to the fill on the right part, we can right click the image, and then we can click here plugins, and then we can choose an image. So I want this to have, a space kind of space theme. So just search something like moon, and I'll pick this image and I'll just bring it there like that. And then I'm gonna now add the other section. So click here, insert on the left part, go to sections, and then we're just gonna drag a bunch of other sections here. So let me see. So I want to add this one. So I just drag it inside here, and as you can see, it comes up really well. And just like that, we have already made 2 sections of our website. So now again, let's call this section 2. Let's just call it sec 2. And then we can duplicate this again. It goes again. As we duplicate, and duplicating, you can just hold Control D on your keyboard. Or I just can right click this and come here to, duplicate this one, okay? As you can see, we have another one. So let's just go back. I'm gonna press Control Z to go back to this, and then I'm gonna just style up my images again. I'm gonna go to plugins, go to note, as we pick our images, we are choosing an images that has this type of aspect ratio so that we can have a good, good image popping out. So if I duplicate this and I duplicate this, voila, you have now your full website. Okay, now we do not have something critical in a website, and that is normally a navigation bar. So we can also drag a navigation bar from here from Framer, but I want to give this a bit of a special touch. So I want us to build a navigation bar from scratch. So just come to your desktop here and hold F on your keyboard, or you can come here to come here to layouts and click frame, and then you can draw a frame here. So now I've just drawn a frame, and then this frame goes inside this header image. I just want to click it and drag it outside, and then I want this frame to have a positioning type of fixed, because I just want it to be fixed on my website. And then I'm gonna come here to position, make sure it's pinned. This is like a pin. You want it to be pinned to the top part, and then we want to drag these arrows a bit down a bit like this, that we can have like that is good. So now every time we view our website, our navigation bar will be 30 pixels from the top. Okay, now we can make sure we can now work on the height. We can give it a height of 764, and then we can give it a width of like 690. This is just a width that we're giving our website. And then we can come here to the shape. We can make sure that the radius is like we can give it like 25 is good. Let's see. So this is just about putting in some numbers. I need it to be a little bit, I think 34 is good. Okay, so now I'm just gonna add the bunch of my logo and my navigation menus here. I'm just gonna click here, click this logo, Control C, or you can right click and copy it and then paste it inside this rectangle. Again, as you can see, when we paste it, it kind of sticks to the top and the left part. As you can see, it's positioned, it's pinned to the top and the left. But we want this frame or this navigation, let's actually rename it to navigation. We want this nav to be to have a layout to it. Okay, so I'm just gonna click the nav here, and I'm gonna come here to layouts, this plus icon here, and I'm just gonna click plus, and you can see, voila, my logo changes positioning from this part to this part. Again, let me just zoom in so you can see it well, and then I'm gonna now add a text here. So hold T on your keyboard and then hold it inside, and then just write text like that. So you can write login, and then we can duplicate this. So again, Control D, and then we can change this to sign up. Okay, so now we have 2 text and a logo. So I'm just gonna group these 2 together. So to group these 2 together, hold Shift on your keyboard, and then hold the two together and then click Control Enter. So Control Enter, we've now made a stack. We've wrapped the two into a stack. So I want you to go to the stack and change the width to fit the content so that you can fit the content inside. And then I'm just gonna put the logo on this left side. Okay. And then remember, we also have a button, which is this, remember we have, this is now the website that we're gonna build. Remember, we have this button here. Okay. So I'm gonna come out to my website and I'm gonna duplicate this, duplicate the sign up. I'm gonna call it remix. Okay. And then I'm gonna click again the text and I'm gonna hold Control Alt Enter. Make sure you remember Control Alt Enter because it's a very quick shortcut to create a stack. Okay, so if I go back, press Control Alt Enter, we've made a stack. So see, something happens here. We kind of lost everything. This is because if we go to the text here, it's set to fit. So we want it to be fixed. Okay. And then if we go to the stack, it's set to fill. We want it to fit the content. Okay. So we want it to fit the content. Okay. And then now we can also make the sizes to the text width to fit the content. Okay. So now we have a stack and this will call this our button. So now we go to the button and what we're gonna do is add a padding around it. So a padding is spaces between the edges of the button and the text. So I'm gonna click the button and I'm gonna click here on my layout setting and let's just adjust the padding. So there's two ways to adjust the padding. One, we can use this overall one, and this adjusting specific sizes. So this is the top part. We can use like 6 here, and the bottom we can make it 6, and then the right we can make it like 10, and then the left we can make it 10. And then I'm gonna add a color inside it so you can see what we have like that. And then I'm gonna add a radius to this. I'm gonna add like 25, or I'm just gonna, 25 looks good. So now we have a good button. Okay. And then now what we want, we come back to our navigation and we want to change the distribution of the content inside it. So I'm going to click the nav bar and I'm going to change it to, on the right side you can see distribute. So we want to distribute it space between. So remember, we're distributing the logo and the stack. Okay. So now, as you can see, it tags the corners of our navigation. So we're gonna add some space in here and here so that it looks good. So come to your navigation and come to your padding, and we can put a padding of like 40. It is too big, so let's put a padding of 20. I think 20 is pretty good. And so that's pretty much it. So, and we can just come to the text and make sure that this is set to medium. This is now adjusting the text of this, but the button could remain also. Okay, let's just change it to medium. Okay, so now what remains is the color of the navigation bar. So we're gonna just pick this sample color and we're gonna sample the color on our website like this one. Or let's just look for a light color. Gonna sample a color like that one. Again, I think we need a brighter color. Let's just use this color here, which is from our website. So this is the work of the picker, the sample. It's very good because it helps you to create a consistent color throughout your website. So now we also need to change this button color because now, as you can see, it's matching with the navigation color. So I'm just gonna drag and just look for a random gray color just for it to have a distinction. So boom, we have our navigation menu. So now let's go to the tricky part. Let's create what we call a component. I want you to right click on this navigation bar and click create component and then create. And then now inside here, we have a primary variant. Then we're gonna create another variant, which is our secondary variant. So if we see our website, we don't see this very fast. We need to kinda make sure that we don't see this, because if we view our website here, we don't see the remix button. Okay, so let's go back here and let's get rid of this. How do we get rid of it? So I'm gonna come here and minimize the opacity, but still we still have this space. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold the button again and I'm gonna make it to absolutely positioned. Okay, so the button is still there, as you can see, but we cannot see it because we've reduced the opacity and we've also adjusted the positioning so that it hugs the right part. Okay, you see the button now is pinned to the right part of the website. Okay, so we're gonna come here again to the second variant and we're gonna look for our button, and then we're gonna adjust the positioning to relative, and then we're gonna introduce the opacity back again like that. And again, now if we view the website, we cannot see where nothing happens, because now we need to change this navigation bar to, we need to change it to from this part to the other one. So what we need to do now, again, I've also noticed that we need to add as you can see, we cannot see the boundary here because of the white color. So I'm just gonna come here to my navbar and I'm gonna edit the component, and then I'm gonna come to my variant 1 and I'm gonna add a border. So the border will help us know that we have a navigation. Okay, when I scroll, as you can see, the border kind of gives us that glimpse of, yeah, this is a navbar. So let's spice it up a bit. This navigation bar, I want to add a background blur. The background blur is something that, something like a filter-ish to just make our website pop. So click here, background blur, and I want you to put like 12. 12 is good. And then normally we won't be able to see the background blur because this white is 100%, so we cannot see, it's like opaque. So I also want you to come to the color part, and I want you to minimize the opacity of the color to around 55. Okay, now when we view our website, as you can see, when I scroll, we can see again something else is not happening well. If you look at this website, we need to make sure that this navigation bar is on top of the elements on the website. So come to the navigation bar and make sure the z-index is pumped up to like 5. So the z-index is something that is going to make sure that your website is above its contents. So if I now view my website, as you can see, it's above the contents, as you can see. So now again, we want to create that effect where as we scroll, we can change from one version to the other. So come here to this navigation bar, click here effect, and then scroll variant, and then come here to section in view, and then we have, as you can see, we cannot do section in view because there are no sections. So we need to define a section. So let's go to one of the sections that we've built, this one, which is section 2, and let's come here to the right bottom part. Let's click this plus button, and then let's define this at section 2. Okay, so we've now named this, we've given it a name. So let's go back to the navigation bar and come here to scroll effects variants and trigger section in view, and then choose a section. We're gonna choose sec 2, and then we want it to set it to variant 2, and then we want it to trigger it when it gets to the top of the viewport, when this section gets to the top of the viewport. Okay, or rather we can use it even the center. This doesn't matter as much now, but it's just a specific point at which we can trigger it. So now when I view my website, if I scroll, you can see it now comes in very well, although it comes in quickly because this section gets to the top of the viewport. So we can adjust it a bit. We can want it to slow down a bit, so let's make this easy to be at the top of the viewport. So now if I view it, this has to get to the top of the viewport so that it changes. Nice. As you can see, now it changes to a nice, nice navigation bar. So that's pretty much it. But now let's now go to making it responsive. If I drag it inside, as you can see, we have a problem here. You can see the navigation bar is not really flowing well, and you can also see our elements here are kind of crushed. Okay, so we need to do something here so that we can make sure that our website is ready to be viewed on mobile. So let's go back and let's start with the navigation, and we're gonna make a variant that is mobile friendly. What I mean is we're gonna create a different version of the navigation bar that is mobile friendly. So I'm gonna click this primary and I'm gonna create a variant here, and I'm gonna make sure that the width is set to so normally a view for a phone breakpoint is set to 390, so we're gonna use like 360 here. So 360. Okay, so now this is now small enough for the phone, and then we're gonna create another variant here, and then this is now where we're gonna make sure we return our button. So make sure the opacity is seen, and then make sure that we change the positioning of our button to relative. Now as you can see, we have a nice navigation bar. So now what we need to do is change it from add our phone breakpoint. So come here to the right part and click tablet breakpoint, and then we're also gonna click this plus button and have a phone breakpoint. So now we just come here to our navigation and change it to variant 3. But now again, as you can see, something is not going well. It's because we need to make sure that our parent variant, which is this, has a maximum width of 100% of its parent layer. Okay, so if we now go back to this, we can see now it's working well, but now we want it to be a little bit smaller, so we can minimize it like that, and then we can position it at the center. Again, we can minimize it again and position it at the center. Now we have a good, again, I think we need to minimize it again, adjust lightly a bit, and then we can give it like 360. 360 sounds good, and then yeah, pretty much it. So if we now view our website, we can see that it changes from it's now mobile friendly. Again, we also need to make sure that these should be not maximum width is not 100%, but let's use 90% of it should always occupy 90% of this width from here to here. Okay, so now we can now add the scroll variant for this. It is very similar to the other one. We can just make sure now we go to variant 4, which is now the phone variant. Again, now let's go back to our phone breakpoint, and let's now adjust this to to fit in on our phone. So come to section 2, come to stack. So we have this stack here. As you can see, it's arranged from our left to right, so we just need to change the direction from top to bottom like that, and then we need to make sure that we come now to the stack. Inside the stack we have the image and we have the content. We come to the text and we make sure that the text is set to fill the available space like that, and then also want to make sure that this other text is set to fill the available space, and we're gonna do the same for these other ones. Click here, set this to fill, again this one, set this to fill like that. And so what we have here now is we have a responsive. Now the problem is, if you go to the parent layer, which is the section 2, you can see there's a very big padding here. So if we go to our setting here, we can see it has 100 padding. This is too big for what we want, so give it a 40 padding like that. So I think that's now pretty cool for a phone breakpoint, and we can do the same for these other ones. Okay, Amazing. Now we have a website which is now fully responsive, which means you can use it on your laptop pretty well, and you can also use it on your phone. This is the laptop size. As you can see, we can scroll down and we have this effect here. Although we can change this to, yeah, as you can see, we have this effect here, and then we can also see there's a background blur to it. So this is pretty good. This is pretty good. It's a cool website. And then again, if we view the font breakpoint, we can see that we have a nice navigation bar with a slightly background blur to it, which makes it pretty cool to me. And then we have these buttons here, yeah, and we have a fully responsive website, which is pretty good. Yeah, so thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, please post them in the description below and I will help you, and see you in the next video.